Jackson.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Channel Anderson. I did a thing. And that thing is right behind me, and trust me, we're gonna get into it. But I gotta tell you guys the whole story of how this all happened, and then of course we'll dive into the details of the car. Now, there's always a story, guys. There is a story with all these cars you see behind me, and this one is no different. To be honest, guys, the last few months I have promised and promised and promised again that I am just not gonna buy any more cars. I don't see the need of buying any more cars right now. But with this scenario, it was just too good of a deal to pass up on too good of a car, and something that I'd wanted for a long time, and it just all kind of fell into place. When things like that happen, I just don't ignore them, because the universe works that way, where it will magically align things for you, and you just got to pay attention to see the open door and go through it. And this was that case, so I went for it. I hope you guys don't think I'm turning into the guy that's just going to keep buying cars and never get projects done. I still feel like I'm getting a lot done, and hopefully you guys feel the same. And there are some things that are going to be changing up. We do have a new car here, but there is going to be a car leaving, so hopefully you guys don't get too upset about that. But it's all going to make sense, and I hope you guys have trust in me for that. All the parts that I have that I've been showing you guys, and things that we have planned, it's all going to get done. So don't worry. I promise I will not be that YouTuber that buys cars and doesn't follow through and finish up on projects that I have. So the actual story on this one now. I got a message from who I now know, Mike, and who I'm going to talk about to you guys shortly. But I got a message on Instagram and said, hey, I've been trying to reach out to you via comments on your YouTube videos. I watch your channel, and I have a C43 for sale. I'm going on deployment soon, and I want to get the car sold before I leave, and basically wanted me to have the car, which first off, I'm honored that any of you guys out there, because it's happened a few times now, you guys will reach out to me asking if I'm interested in the cars, and I really do appreciate that sincerely. You guys know how much I love the cars, so I think that's what goes through other people's heads, just like me. I don't want to sell the cars if I don't know that it's going to a good home. I'm just not that type of person. So Mike hits me up, lets me know, sends me pictures of the car, and honestly, guys, at first I was just like, there's no way, like, it's just not the right time, it's not the right thing, it's not the right thing to do. But I was gonna say no, point blank, and told him if I was gonna make this possible, like, I'm really gonna have to figure some things out. I gotta talk with my wife, obviously, and shout out to her, because she's the best, and she actually supports this more than I could ever dream of anybody doing. She is like my #1 supporter, and she's like my business owner. So shout out to my wife Roshi, you guys know her, and love her to pieces, of course. So after I kind of sorted through some things and I talked with her about it and made sure she was cool with it, I had to make a few calls, and you guys will find out some more about that later. It has to do with one of the cars leaving the fleet. But when I found out that was going to be the case, I said, okay, this is possible now. I've exchanged one, and I can get something in return. And this was that car. And started talking a little more serious with Mike at that point. I told him, I'll let you know ASAP out of respect for your time. Told him, give me a little bit, try to figure this out. He was on a short time crunch, few day turnaround before he was deploying. You know, I just wanted to respect his time. So once I got confirmation of a few things I needed to line up, went ahead and gave him a call. And right away, got on the phone with him. And you guys know, car buying experience, I've just been extremely lucky in the last few deals that I've made. I mean, trust me, I've been through some ringers of deals where it was not a pleasant experience, but I wanted the car bad enough that I saw my way through it. But Mike and the last few sellers I've had of cars have just been excellent experiences, and I could just tell right away hopping on the phone with him that he was a good guy and genuine person, and didn't mind spending a bit on the phone with me talking about the car and just telling me everything he knew about it, and his kind of history of ownership, which was about a 4-year period. And he didn't really get to drive the car much. Well, he probably could have, but you know, he just didn't while he had it, and only put about 2,000 miles in that time span. It sounded, you know, better and better as I talked with him, and it just made me more and more interested in it. figured let me see how this goes, and if it's meant to be, it'll be. So I told him bring the title just in case, and I'll bring the cash just in case, because this is looking like a done deal. I just need to make sure, you know, obviously the car is matching up to everything and drives good and all that stuff, as you do with cars that you buy. So as soon as I pulled up to him, and I'm sorry Mike, I feel so bad. I should have taken video while we were there, but I just never do when I go to buy cars, guys, because I don't know people's level of comfortability with having somebody making YouTube videos and whatever, filming them in the car and all that stuff. So I didn't bring anything, and the old me would have been like, what are you doing, man? You have your iPhone right in your pocket. But I've gotten so used to not use my iPhone for filming now that I didn't even think to just bust out my iPhone to film. But anyways, I should have. But as soon as I walked up to see the car, I could just tell it looks good. Like it's straight. We'll talk about, it's got one little panel with dings on it, but that's actually a funny story. But the whole car is just straight. Original paint, you can tell. The previous owner before Mike was a tint guy, he said, and put a nice set of tint on it. You guys know I'm not like the hugest fan of tint, but it works on black cars, and I'm not mad at it by any means. It's all original. Besides that, it's got the monoblocks. It's got the AMG center cap somebody threw on. I'll probably end up changing them out back to the silver ones like C43. And sorry, this thing is filthy. You guys probably saw it clean at the beginning of the video, but it hasn't happened yet. YouTube magic. But yeah, it's just clean, original, and there. And it also has a handful of goodies. So hiding in this thing, it has Koni adjustable shocks. It has lowering springs. I believe they're Eibach, don't quote me on that. I have to look back at Mike's messages, but lowering springs, H&R, front rear sway bars, secondary cat delete. It's still got the cool AMG muffler, original tips. It's got the round ones. I couldn't remember. I know the C36 has the square ones, but I couldn't remember if these had the square or round. So if those are not original, you guys can correct me, but I think the C43s came with the round ones. Still original badging and all that stuff. It's got this cool little flip out steel or aluminum Mercedes plate, which I've never seen before. It's super cool. Mike actually used to be a Mercedes Master Tech, and the previous owner, a couple owners ago, was also a Master Tech. So it's definitely been cared for throughout its life, and it speaks to that just by how it looks, how it drives, how it feels. Like you'll hear me talk about later on in the driving portion of the video, it just feels great, and it shows through immediately in all areas. So the one little thing, which is again a funny story, like I said, Mike accidentally dropped, he has a motorcycle, accidentally dropped it on the fender, so it's got a few little dings right there. But if you guys know, you've been following the channel, when I first got the C36, we found a black 040 C280 at a pick and pull, and I actually grabbed the driver's side fender off of it. So we already have a fender for it that I can throw on. The only difference of regular versus AMG fenders is the lips a little bit rolled on the AMGs, which we can handle no problem. So I literally already have a fender for it, which is just funny, and it's just another one of those little like synchronicities and alignments that just point to me kind of feeling like I'm making the right moves. And when things like that line up with these cars and the situations and the people that I've been able to just build relationships with and exchange memories with, and you know, knowledge and everything, it just, you can tell right away that you're going with the grain and you're not fighting against it, and it just feels so incredible to I don't know, like just to magically have fallen upon kind of all these cars. This one was the most forced situation out of all of them. It was a month-long battle of finagling and negotiating with the dealer, and the dealer was not pleasant to deal with, but I wanted it, and that was the start of all of this. The C55 here. The M155 was a decent situation, a little bit sketchy scenario, but the seller was still, you know, a pretty nice guy. So that one was okay. But ever since then, really, guys, like the CLK, phenomenal experience. The C36, phenomenal experience. This car, phenomenal experience. The red C55, phenomenal experience. Patrick with this car, the 190E, phenomenal experience. Just everybody, I should shout all you guys out. Rain, Al, Alex for the CLK, and Patrick, like I said, I've just been really lucky to deal with people that really love these cars and are good people. And in the world, that's not always true. And in the car world, that's probably even less always true. So to get to meet Mike, see that he also loves these cars, and to have Mike actually literally choose me to be kind of the new owner of this car and to hook me up with such an amazing deal on it, it just feels incredibly special, and I'm incredibly grateful to you for that, Mike. I promise you, and I promise you in person, of course, I will take the absolute best care of this thing as I'm able to, and I will treat it right, enjoy it, and let it be seen in all the videos for you and everyone else that's supported the channel. Just much love to all of you guys. I can't say that enough, can't speak to that enough. It is just awesome, and I don't take it lightly. Absolutely love this thing, and just again incredibly thankful for you reaching out and choosing me to be the next kind of guy with this car. So it's just awesome. All right, you guys, and here is the engine bay and the car running. It's got the nice factory original air box. It does have a K&N filter inside of there, and overall it's really clean. Even with the covers off, like all the aluminum's in really good shape. I've seen some older M113s, even mine. I mean, before I redid all the valve covers on all the cars that are here, pretty much, they had a ton of corrosion built up on them, and these are just like really nice and clean and original. Everything else in the engine bay is nice and tidy. All the fluids are pretty much good. I'll probably end up doing an expansion tank because that thing's a little yellowed and it's so easy to do, so probably do that. But besides that, it's just nice and clean and original. A couple other things to point out, guys, on the car. Mike discovered, he said, when he took off the bumper one time, he was I think he hit something because this car is pretty low. Knocked the bumper off one of the tabs on the other side. He said, you guys know, if you know 202s, those plastic tabs that hold the bumpers on get pretty brittle over time. So he put a new one on that side. But while he was in there, he noticed at some point somebody's redone the fog lights. So they still have like the original housing shape, but somebody's definitely redone the inside. And I think they're yellow. I had them on this morning. I'll have to double check. But besides that, all the glass is like in really good shape. Headlights, still original windshield, all the windows, everything, the sunroof, even the seal on the sunroof is looking good. Interior wise, the back seats are like brand new. Front seats, I'll show you guys in a second. There's some parts that Mike left over for me, and there's a bunch in the trunk as well. Love for my Mandarin speakers right there. For those that don't know, I spent about a year in Beijing before, so 大家好，你也会说中文？好啊。Okay, anyways, in the trunk, also again, bunch of parts from Mike. He actually kept the secondary cats that somebody had deleted at some point. And then there's also like a new charcoal air filter, and then some brake rotors that he said were just kind of cheapies that somebody had thought about putting on it, but he kept. Oh, and look at this. Has the original shift knob. That's pretty cool. Or at least one. I don't remember what the C43 came with, if it said 43 on it like the C36 does or not, but yeah, a bunch of little miscellaneous parts in there. I'm curious, what's this? HVAC cleaner, the actual Mercedes stuff. That's funny. All right, moving on. Let's go check out the interior real quick. He replaced this door seal, which same thing on my C36, the passenger rear. They just get real hard to close. You gotta really try to close them with the new seal, but as long as you kind of shut it with some force, it'll close up no problem. Here was a big selling point of the car, guys. The interior is just almost flawless, I would say, like driver quality flawless, like almost no wear on the bolsters. The seatbelt is a little lost attention to it, I guess, but still works just fine. Steering wheel is amazing, the cluster amazing, all the dash is just beautiful. Doesn't have any cracked wood trim, which is crazy. Somebody did throw on this like aftermarket AMG shift knob. I don't really know what that is, or it probably is just aftermarket one, but it does have a Panasonic flip out unit in here, which is cool. I actually have a car that has a decent head unit in it, so that's nice. It's all touchscreen, and you can switch a bunch of different modes, Bluetooth, and he's got, looks like, some connections down here to put on whatever MP3 or phone unit you want to run for your music. It has a digital HVAC controls, different than the C36, is all manual stuff, but besides that, everything at the top is pretty familiar for 202s. Somebody put looks like some LED door lights in it, and then still got the regular reader light. Headliner is in really good shape, but the sunroof is a little bit flappy, so just like the C36, we're just keeping that tucked away so it doesn't, you know, flake anything in the back. But oh, there we go. You guys can see. We'll try to get that sorted, but these door seals on these cars are tricky, you guys. Again, rear seats totally pristine. It's got the rubber floor mats, which I absolutely love, especially for up here in the Pacific Northwest. Getting in the car with muddy feet and whatever else, you don't got to worry about it too much. You just get the rubber mats dirty and then you clean them off when due time. So wheels and tires, it has obviously the 17 monoblocks, which are so hard to find nowadays. And he recently threw on these Bridgestone Potenzas, their SO4 pole positions, which is a really good tire. So he's got 245 40 17 and 225 45 17 in the front. So that's probably original spec. He did tell me that we'll need to do brakes probably in the next year. These definitely got a good lip on them. Something I'll consider, because the C36, I put the C55 brakes on from this car. This car's got the 6 pistons, you guys know, but that car has the 4 piston 203 calipers and rotors, and I have all the stuff to put the original stuff back on that car. So maybe that's something that could come over here. I'll definitely do braided lines as well at the same time. If this doesn't already have it, we'll see. But when I do the brakes, I'll see what kind of upgrades are out there. Otherwise, sticking with the stock stuff is fine. Plenty for these cars. So that is, for the most part, it right there, guys. And I'll tell you guys, an unexpected part of this whole journey, and something that I'm very grateful for, meeting Mike and getting to hear his story again. He's in the Army, and he's going to be deploying soon to the Middle East. So I would really appreciate you guys to just throw down, you know, a salute, a peace, a hello to Mike in the comments, and just wish him well and wish him safe travels over there while he is out deployed, and wish him a safe return, obviously, and to all those that are out there. Definitely, I'm going to link up with him once he gets back and let you guys meet him and just do some fun stuff. I told him, come over, let's have some dinner. He's got to check out the other cars. We didn't get a chance to the other day. It was actually his birthday and he didn't tell me, so wish him happy birthday, happy belated birthday too in the comments. At least I got to give him a little bit of money, I guess, for his birthday, but I also took the car, so I don't know. I got to make it up to him. I got to make it up to you, Mike. So next time we get to hang out, try to make it a fun time for you and just have some fun. So yeah, I'm just thankful to interact with somebody as genuine and transparent about the car and just about everything. It's good meeting somebody like that. And yeah, that said, guys, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of my initial feelings driving the car, and kind of right when I got it registered, when I took it out for a drive and took you guys along. I don't have the GoPro with me, so it's not, you know, the best driving footage, but it's just me and my kind of initial thoughts on the car, because I was very curious what it was going to be like in comparison to the C36, and thankfully it surpassed my expectations, and I'm really glad having this car now, because I was kind of like on the fence of, well, it's very similar to the C36, still a 202, but it's actually quite dramatically different. So stay tuned. Right now you'll see that clip and those thoughts. All right, you guys, well, you've kind of heard the story at this point. I just got it registered, got the new plates in the back, and I think it's time we go for a little bit of a drive. Nothing too crazy since I don't have my GoPro with me, unfortunately, but it is a super nice day out, and I'll still be able to give you guys a sense of what it feels like to drive just in this initial video. Of course, I definitely got to make a comparison to the C36 and the C43 in a future video proper, but this time around I just want to share my initial thoughts because they're surprising even to me, and figured it'd be worthwhile sharing for you guys. My first thing I will point out is I love this steering wheel. It's nice and bolstered, a meaty steering wheel in your hand, and it's just a good feel. It's a different feel than the C36. It's a little more compact, I think, smaller overall diameter, And overall, just the cabin feels like a little bit different than the C36 with the seats, steering wheel, gauges, etc. So let me give it a first start for you guys. Funny story, key fob was stuck this morning, or so I thought. It's actually just because I didn't have my foot off the brake trying to put it to position 0. All my other cars, I don't have to do that. I can just, you know, keep my foot on the brake and it'll turn and come out. But on this, maybe it's an early, you know, first gen key fob thing. I can't remember from my old 202 compressor. It's been so long, but yeah, a funny story from this morning. I was like panicking thinking, what did I do? And it was just me not having my foot off the brake. So there it is. Not exactly cold. I already drove it here. I just got to the registration office, but it starts up whisper quiet. I started up in the cold this morning and it was flawless. It's awesome. I got to set the or reset the service interval, but besides that, there it is, 126,000 miles, and we'll keep them climbing. Anyways, let's go for a drive. All right, guys, well, we're going to be sitting in quite a bit of traffic right now on the way home, but it's just a chance for me to give you my kind of spontaneous thoughts. I bought this car yesterday, just got it registered, and you guys are going to be seeing it Saturday. Today is Friday, so it's a very quick kind of turnaround. But initial impressions, I was worried purchasing a C43 because I just didn't think it was going to be different enough from the C36 to warrant having another 202. But what I quickly realized, because it's been years since I drove one, driving this car yesterday with Mike, it was so different from the C36. The feel of it, it feels like a mini muscle car. It really does. With the M113 in a 202, it's kind of like mind-boggling, having owned, you know, a compressor 202 with the M111K and now, you know, inline 6 in the C36. Those feel very like balanced and still just like C classes, but the C43 feels, like I said, a mini muscle car. You can feel the heaviness of the V8 in the front, but it still feels, you know, relatively nimble, and the torque is much different delivery than the inline 6 or my old M111K. It just drives very smooth, it's very planted. It's what I would say is like a very sturdy, tight feeling car, and that's also has to do with just how well this thing's been cared for. The suspension that's on it, Koni's and Ibach springs, I believe, with the H&R sway bars, as well as it's got newer Bridgestone Potenza tires on it. It's just overall really good driving package, and it feels, again, just like a tight car. You know the difference of a car that's been driven and driven and driven and just never really maintained anything. And sometimes cars just hold together better. It depends on, you know, ownership and what's kind of been, you know, up to speed over its lifetime or brought up to speed over its lifetime. But this car, you can just tell it's held together well, and it just feels very, very put together. This is a car that I wouldn't necessarily put in the fast category, very similar to the C36, but it is quick, and it's because of that low down torque delivery of the V8. It definitely has power, and it's not a slouch by any means. It's just not fast in terms of modern day fast, I guess you could say. But as far as like regular cars you'll see on the road, it would be fast compared to those. And definitely can accelerate, you know, pretty well for what it is and time period it came out. And what I've realized is I think I'm just a W202 guy, you guys. It's just a chassis that I really, really enjoy. It was my first ever Benz in the old compressor, and it's so cool to come full circle now and owning basically my two dream 202s. These are the cars that I saw on Craigslist as a 16-year-old. It was C43, C36, and Cazis, 190E Cazis. And those three cars were what got me into Mercedes-Benz. And seeing those as a teenager, they never felt like they were going to be attainable because I didn't have the money to buy them at that time for sure. I was inexperienced as far as cars in general, so I had no clue about what it would take to maintain them and take care of them. And it just felt like, you know, a fleeting dream. But to have them now, I'm 33 years old now, and to have these is just surreal. I was tripping out when I got home last night and looking at the C36 and the C43 in the driveway. Blows my mind that I can own these things, and to get them for this car, Mike absolutely gave me a steal of a deal on it. And even the C36, what I paid for it, absolute fair prices, and just crazy that you can even get them nowadays being 25-year-old cars, it's just crazy that you can still have them for a reasonable deal and in good condition still, and cars that you can literally keep going for basically however long you want to own them for. And this car, guys, the whole reason I kind of swung for the fences and went for it, even though I was not trying to buy any more cars, the reason I went for it is because this car could probably be a lifetime car for me. Like I said, I think I've really discovered I am a W202 guy, and this car and the C36 I just don't see myself ever letting go of. It's just, they're too good. They're just too good. And honestly, with how original it is, this car's obviously got some modifications, but still overall it's very original and still relatively low mileage. C36, same boat. I've really gone back and forth with, do I, even manual swap these things anymore, or do I just keep them as is? And I am no purist by any means, guys. You know that by now, but I guess they're just that special that it makes me consider keeping them pure, so to speak. Just with that said, so original, so hard to find nowadays in this good a shape, having been this well maintained throughout their lifetimes and different owners. It's just kind of crazy to think about changing them up too dramatically, but I won't hold my breath on that, because who knows. I literally have everything it would take to manual swap both the cars at this point, the C36 and this car. I already have literally everything required to do so, and it will just come down to me having them for a little longer and making that decision on if it's what I want to do. And if I do decide that, the thing I definitely promise myself and you guys is I will keep everything as original as possible and keep every component, the automatic, the shifter, all of those things in safekeeping to myself, so that if I ever do want to change them back, I can, and it wouldn't be an issue. So something to consider. But anyways, let's just get into the drive. We got some open roads coming up, so I'll show you guys what this thing can do a bit. All right, you guys, we're going uphill right now, and it'd be cool if this thing had paddle shifters to kick it down, but if I just give it a little kick down on my foot, you guys can definitely see it's still got plenty of pickup, considering, 300 horsepower, little V8, little C-Class from before the 2000s, 1998. Very impressive. It feels great. I really cannot convey that enough on camera to you guys. This car just feels solid and such a good feeling drive. And surprisingly, again, like I said, very different from the C36, like dramatically different feel, which is, it was so unexpected for me, because they're the same chassis, but so different, driving them back to back. And again, the only examples of a C43 I ever drove were way back in the day, and both of them were not in great shape, so I never truly got a good driving experience out of one, and this one takes the cake by far. That's like half throttle and just kind of rolling into it. It's a just smooth cruiser, and it just has got enough juice to feel alive and feel rowdy, but it's still very civilized when you want it to be, and just a good driver. Some of you guys may be thinking, what about the 55 swap? Will it be a thing that I do? Who knows? I can never say for sure with projects in general. I mean, sometimes I have a direct idea, know what I'm gonna do, but with something like that, who knows? I mean, maybe if a 5.4 came up for sale and it was in good shape and I got, the chance to kind of do an engine stand rebuild, refresh, and it made sense to do it, I won't say no, but I actually like the idea of having the 4.3 stay in here and kind of trying to squeak out some power where I can. We're gonna do some tuning on it with Josh, of course, and I'll try to do, my own little kind of Anderson spin modifications on it to make it, you know, that much better to my liking. And just overall, my whole goal with all the cars always is simplicity and efficiency, and, you know, trying to squeeze out power where you can safely and reliably. And that won't change. That whole motto won't change for this build. So someday maybe a 5.4, but I really like this motor. I love the way it feels. I think it's very aligned with what the overall car is and what it was kind of designed to be, and there's no real need to change up something that's already working like that. All right, you guys, got a little bit of twisties to drive on. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't have the GoPro with us, but I'm enjoying this. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm over off the shore of Lake Washington, and couldn't ask for a more beautiful day right now. 60 degrees, sunny out, not a cloud in the sky, and driving an absolute classic German automobile machine, little tank. Love it. This is beyond my wildest dreams. Like I said, guys, I'm so beyond grateful to experience all of this, the cars that I own. Sharing it with you guys is incredibly special to me, and I don't take it lightly, and this is no different. This is just, it blows my mind, you guys. Yeah, she can get down, guys. Like, it doesn't feel slouchy by any means necessary. Nice quickness to it. Good little momentum car is what I would call it. It's like borderline. It's not a momentum car all the way, but it's, the more you let it eat, the more it gives you, and the higher, you know, it climbs the rev range. It just keeps pulling. That's what's nice. Only pulling a little C-Class with even the 4.3 on 113 that has, you know, the hopped up cams and all the other stuff that it got for the 43 AMG. It's just got plenty to tug along this little chassis. So it's grunty, it's low end torque, and smiles. And of course, I'm doing this all during peak traffic and the day that I don't have my GoPro with me, when I usually always have it, but it's okay. We're being spontaneous, and this whole purchase was spontaneous, as you guys heard at the beginning of the video, the whole story of how this happened. So I don't mind at all, and I hope you guys don't mind either. I just wanted to share my true feelings in real time with you guys and get it out to you guys as soon as possible, because me keeping secrets when I buy cars I hate it. I don't like it, and it's just not something I wanted to do. I didn't want to wait a week or 2 weeks to show you guys this. I just would like to get it out, and hopefully give chance for Mike to be able to watch it before he takes off. So appreciate you again, Mike. I'll catch you guys back at home before the end of the video. Whew. If you've made it here, you officially made it to the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please excuse me for talking so much at the beginning, but all of this is a story, and sometimes it just has to be told. Hope you guys enjoyed the little dream sequence video at the beginning for the intro. Spontaneous idea I came up with. Actually, Mike, the seller of this car, we thought of like the same thing as we were saying bye to each other after we made the deal. We were both like acting it out, and it was just funny that we both thought of that same type of thing, revealing the car behind the C43, since they're so similar, obviously. But here it is, guys. I just cannot believe both of these things are in my driveway. I got my work cut out for me, obviously, getting all these things cleaned up and all the projects we got going on, a lot of stuff in the works. So it doesn't stop. It's going to continue just as it has for the last almost going on 5 years now. We've been doing this on the channel, you guys, which is crazy. Realistically, like 3 years when I started actually trying to put some energy into it, but just a crazy journey it's been, and who knows where it will go from here, but I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Thank you as always for supporting, for watching, for liking, commenting, subscribing, all of that stuff. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.